that's not a comic book. Now that's a comic book.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Comic Reviews. I'm Sid Part 2, and we've got a lot of stuff to get through tonight, so I'm not going to wait too long for people to show up. But I am going to make just two brief announcements before we begin. Alright. The first of which is concerning Comic Book Club. If you don't know what Comic Book Club is, let me tell you. Comic Book Club is a once-a-month live discussion series I host on this channel, where we pick a book, a comic book, and we discuss it like you would in a book club. Anyone with a legal copy of the book is allowed to join the discussion. All you need is a microphone and headphones, and obviously an internet connection, and you can join. We'll be doing the next episode of Comic Book Club on Godzilla, the Half-Century War, a standalone graphic novel featuring, of course, Godzilla, and that will be on July 28th at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hope to see you there. Hope everyone enjoys and is able to find this book pretty easy. Let me just say, if you're not a Godzilla fan, you don't have to be to read this. I'm not much of a Godzilla fan, and I really, really enjoy this. This stands on its own really well, so it's a great way to read the character in comics without having to really know anything about Godzilla. Besides, the generals. He's a giant lizard in Japan that is known for destroying buildings and fighting other giant monsters. Alright, so that's on Comic Book Club. There's a bonus episode of Geeky Gentleman this week. Normally we have 3 episodes of Geeky Gentleman a week. This week we have a 4th, which, concerning comic books, is a bonus episode where myself and Brit Without Fear went through all 6 issues of Bendis's Man of Steel weekly series. And now that that's wrapped up, just did a whole episode talking about it, even though I've talked about each individual issue here on the show. So, if you just want more of me talking about Bendis on Superman, you can go check that out. It'll be posted on Friday, kind of early in the morning. So, hope that satiates you. I know there's not nearly enough content on this channel. Just God. Weekly, daily content. Man. Anyway. Alright, looks like I got 4 people here. Hi, Robert Emmett and Jake Carlson in the comments. I mean, by definition, it's not just you two. There has to be another 2 people here, so... you don't have to join the chat, folks, but you can say hi in the chat. That's always nice, just to see who's watching. Alright, let's go ahead and break down what I'll be talking about this week. We'll be beginning this week by talking about Stealth #1 from Short Fuse Media. The real Manos himself, Justin Cristelli, gave me a copy of this, so I'm really excited to talk about that. Exiles #5. Darth Vader #18. Superman #1. Wonder Woman #50. The Amazing Spider-Man Behind the Scenes Edition #1, which is a free comic. The Flash #50. DC 100-page giant Justice League of America #1, and DC 100-page giant Batman #1. These are the Walmart exclusives. I might just... that's a much easier way. Walmart Batman, DC, or Justice League, or Walmart Justice League. Walmart Batman, Walmart Justice League, that's a lot better. Anyway. And then, for Trade Talk... what I am sure will end up being the most viewed episode of Trade Talk. My Girlfriend is a T-Rex, Volume 1. I'll get into why, but yeah, stick around for Trade Talk. It'll be a rare episode where I leave live comments up the whole time, and I'll just describe it page by page to the chat, and I will interact the fuck out of it. Chat with you guys, because this is bizarre. So yeah, stick around for that. I know a lot of people tend to leave during Trade Talk. Please stay. Alright, so let's go ahead and get into it. I'm just going to take a swig of soda and we shall begin. Alright. Starting off with Stealth. Number 1. So this is a book from the really, really small publisher Short Fuse Media. They do a lot of Kickstarters to get their books going, and the real Manos, Justin Gristelli, publishes with them, and he helped back this book on Kickstarter, and as a perk got an issue, or got the first issue, I believe, and he decided to send it to me as well. I don't know if he paid for an additional copy for me or what the situation was, but I got this as a free copy from Manos, so first and foremost, I want to say thank you, Manos. This goes generally for anyone. If you ever want to send me a comic just because you want my thoughts on it, send it. Get in contact with me, and we will work something out. I would be happy to talk about virtually anything, no matter how bad I'm going to think it is, if you're sending it to me for free. That is ominous for this. It's not meant to be at all. This is actually incredibly good. And so, I want to start this review by showing you one of the very last pages, because it gives you kind of the context for what this book is. R.I.P. Stefan Clark, Philando Castile, Alton Sterling, Tamir Rice, Michael Brown, Ayanna Jones. For those that don't know those names by memory, those are some of the higher profile cases of young black men that have been killed by police, and that have really been kind of the impetus for the Black Lives Matter movement. So Stealth is a young black superhero, not too young, you know. He's a teacher at a magnet program high school, and for at least the last couple months, he's been doing your pretty basic superheroing, where he, you know, takes out muggers and bank robbers and yada yada yada. But he's getting very annoyed with the fact that the media and indeed the society in which he lives, which is very reflective of our own, but with superheroes, is not covering what he thinks should certainly be newsworthy, but is instead covering his exploits of being a superhero and, you know, stopping criminals and yada yada. And that's really pissing him off. And then one night he sees a young man being harassed by police and arrested for nothing. You know, walking while black, I believe they call it. Driving while black, walking while black. So he follows the cops that arrested this poor kid, and when they go out drinking after work, he tracks down one of them, grabs him, and hangs him outside a police station. We don't want racist pigs hanging around here. There's a huge conversation with, I believe it's supposed to be his sister. I maybe missed that detail somewhere along the way. Who is a news reporter. And in which he's criticizing her for not focusing on stories of police brutality. So he decides that, and I really do like this line. No, we didn't report it, no matter how much I really wanted to, and yes, a costume creep tossing a crook through a window is exactly the kind of news our audience prefers to hear about. Good to know, he thinks. So he then goes and starts stopping cops from abusing their power. Stopping a man from being killed by a police officer. Catching the bullet and saying that would have been murder. At a protest of police brutality, before officers can unjustly rough up the protesters, comes in and removes their riot shields and also confronts the police chief about his actions before the officers are sicked on him and he has to take them out. Stealth has super speed, super strength, and a range of other powers. This is immediately making him more and more unpopular, causing police to decide to, hunt him more directly. And yeah, we get division within the police department, showing that there is deep-seated corruption, going all the way up to the mayor's office. And they've brought in a superhero known as Invincible to try to deal with this threat of a vigilante who's hurting cops. That is a brilliant fucking premise for a series. Wow. I don't really know where to begin with why this works so well. I guess I'll start with the general premise that not all cops are bad, but cops are still bad. We live in a society which praises the police officer as some kind of brave individual, some kind of hero. And so it is not unreasonable to assume that someone who does legitimately want to be a good person and try to be a good person would join the police force, would be pushed in that direction. But the police force is still bad. The institution, the structures of society under which it exists, police are not a good thing. That is just the objective reality and has been kind of meted out. Historically, and just read the fucking news, right? So the idea of a hero that wants to specifically expose and take on police corruption. That's some good shit. That's just some really good stuff right there. It gives you such a great insight and commentary, and it's not like this is an accident. Putting a dedication, putting rest in peace to the victims of police brutality on the back of this book is a mission statement for what this book is going to be about, what this book wants to be about. This is a political statement. Stealth is being created as a political monument, or as a political voice. I'm seeing a lot of... I wonder if this is available in the UK. Where can I pick this up in the comments? Go to shortfusemedia.com. I believe that you have buying options, or you should obviously have buying options on there, whether digital, if it's not available in print in the UK, or obviously they have print copies. I can't tell you how much each... I can tell you how much each individual issue is. This is a $5 issue. It is pretty good size. Pretty good stock and size. So, yeah, this is... I've done a couple short fuse stories before, and, I liked some of what I read. Some of it just wasn't quite my kind of thing. This is really good. I'm going to have to look into this. Maybe not in print, because I tend to have really bad luck with getting comics shipped to me in the mail. But yeah, I might have to start covering this in digital, because this is a great start to a series. Just, wow, the messaging in this book is absolutely phenomenal. You know, we often hear about the idea how superheroes are just an extension of the ideology of might makes right, or of, you know, conservative power and ideologies like that. I've heard a lot of people say that, like, superheroes are conservative by their very nature. No, they're generally not. You can find stuff, sure, but generally, the fuck they are. To have something from issue 1 with pages that are just as in your face politically as that is fucking great. I imagine the artist's probably going to get some guff for it, but fuck it, who cares when you're doing something that good. Damn, that's great. Now, that being said, there are still some criticisms worth talking about in here. Mostly on form and structure of writing, which is a good thing because you can always improve that. Like, if you're bad at characterization, it's hard to work on how to write good characters. If you're bad at plot, it's easier than character work, but still really difficult to get good at plot. But, like, form stuff is something that you can recognize and just look for. It's like diagnostics in a car. So I want to talk a little bit about that. We open this issue, which, in a way which I feel is probably not going to be typical for how this is being told. I'd say the first, third of this issue is a lot different than what the overall book is planning to be. But it is worth talking about. So, we open this issue with, what's his name? Why can't I think? I'm bad at this. Alan. Okay, we start this issue off with Stealth, whose secret identity is Alan, the teacher. Taking out a criminal, throwing him through a window, and then he returns to his date. And then he has a conversation with his date in which he kind of goes through his background, what happened with his brother being a cop, getting killed, and, problems that he has with the gangs and stuff in town. So we get a lot of background, a lot of, expositional information, and we're even introduced to some side characters here, which is really good structurally. That's a good structural point. But this starts to do a thing as we're introduced to the political and social landscape, which again is necessary, but there are better ways to handle it without stepping on your toes in this manner. Or we get like who the mayor of the city is, stuff like that. And it's a while before we finally, and then we go back and we get some more world building, so we realize this is a world of superheroes, yada yada. And then the story actually gets started with the Alan noticing cops roughing people up and starting to get really bothered by that. So structurally, one of the things that bothers me about this exposition dump, because that's what it is, that's okay, is there's a lot of narrative jumps in who's talking that we're not seeing. So you have, dialogue balloons where you know exactly who's saying what, and you have a setting and you know where you are. And then you get caption balloons where you're supposed to infer where that's coming from and be able to keep pace of who's talking by looking at the coloration. That's generally the tool that's used. It's not a big problem until you start to throw in too many of those. And then it starts to get really hard to follow something and really connect with where something's coming from. So, like, we get Alan describing his backstory here, and that's all interspersed with with dialogue. So we're cutting back and forth between scenes, and it's not a huge problem. It's just structurally to, cut that with dialogue from other scenes that aren't happening, dialogue from other characters. You start to lose a flow of information. It starts to become distracting. So it's not that you can't have narration from one character and dialogue from a character who are nowhere near the same room, and the two things connect thematically or structurally to the plot. It's not that you can't do that. It's that it's a mistake to have him introduce a scene. Let's see here. Alright, the last time we get internal monologue is right up here in this panel on the bottom of the page. Next page, we get an entire page of dialogue between different characters that are being introduced for the first time. And then we continue internal monologue on the next page as we see consequences of what's happening to those characters. That's a problem. That's a lot to keep in mind and remember what he was talking about on the previous page. You can see the size of the dialogue balloons there. There's a lot of dialogue happening in here. Admittedly, it's double-edged, because the dialogue in this scene is necessary to the characters, and it gives you a sense of who they are as characters. It's not really necessary to the plot or what's happening in the scene itself. This gives you an insight into who these two boys are, and they are important characters because they end up being revealed to be in Alan's class. But as far as just the events of what he's talking about happening in this city and what they're talking about are not really as connected as I feel they need to be. And again, it creates that break where you have to remind yourself what was going on in the previous scene. And that's something that it works better in prose or script than it does when you've got the things like the page breaks and the panel reveals, and you're like, your mind's just juggling so many things, because you got, okay, internal monologue, dialogue from other characters, I can do this for a while. Art. Something's gonna drop real quick. I'm not practiced at juggling, so it's splitting your attention too much, and it is something that's worth paying a lot of attention to, and being careful not to break between too many things. Keep in mind that interpreting the events of what's going on page in the art is just as big a part of telling the story as the dialogue or the monologue. All of those things are equally taking up room in the reader's head. So there's some structural stuff that definitely could use some work, but once you get to, it's about a third into the book, that really fades away, and it feels like this writer has a world that they wanted to go into and talk about, or that they needed to introduce this into, and then they have a story that they want to tell. And it feels like the majority of this book is the story they want to tell, and that's how it should be. So, just as far as narration goes, as far as exposition, dialogue, stuff like that goes, it's just something to watch, be more mindful of. It's funny, I love Tom King, so I'm gonna harp on something I enjoyed about Tom King. I enjoy about Tom King, and that I do think is a strength, even though I've seen people making fun of it. Tom King does a lot of minimalist dialogue, but he'll do some really intriguing stuff with narration and allow a lot of the stuff on the page in art and like in panel and just the structure of panels to like explain things without having to have characters say anything. And that's great because you can still get really impactful moments from when someone's speaking, or from narration, or from the art, or all three at once without dividing your attention too much. And that's a great thing about doing very minimal dialogue, even though he gets a little shit for it, but it's pretty funny. Anyway, so yeah, really good book. I'm gonna have to pick this up digitally at least if I can't get it in print. But yeah, fantastic work on this. Very excited. Excited. I can't talk tonight. It's a great time to be doing a review show, talking about comics live. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and move on to Exiles number 5. Or, alternatively, I could say, let's go ahead and move on to something that does exposition terribly. Or, alternatively, I can say, let's go ahead and move on to something that's just really, really bad. Alright, so this is the conclusion of the Time Lactus Kang story arc. The first story arc of the new Exiles run. And it did not improve. Man, like, here's the Exiles run. Look at the cool thing. Look at the cool thing! Now, let me tell you about the American Civil War. It all started in 1865. Look at the cool thing! You see, Lincoln... Oh my god, it's nothing. It is nothing but those two things. Like, oh, something cool. And then just awful. Just nothing but page after page after page of exposition. Look how much dialogue! This is a random page. I did not plan this out. Look at all this dialogue. What are you doing? What are you doing? That's so much. And it's like, the worst part is, it's not world building. It's solved the bullshit problem. It's seriously the classic Star Trek thing of, like a balloon with too much air. It's just, oh... God, it's so much. And it just doesn't end the whole way through. And then there's just stupid shit. So, like, alright. Nick Fury, Apocalypse-era Kamala Khan, and Blink are running through portal after portal, trying to get to the bullshit. When... out of fucking nowhere, Sabretooth shows up. And Blink and Kamala both go, "You?" And, like, Blink is like, "Oh, guys, this is Mr. Creed, Sabretooth, my adopted father. He rescued me from the Age of Apocalypse when I was just a kid. And we were also on the original Exiles together. Oh, I thought I'd never see you again." That was one dialogue balloon. One dialogue balloon. "Good to see you too, kid. Did TJ send you? She and I were..." And then, like, there's this random-ass standoff between Kamala Khan and Sabretooth that's just here to pad. It serves literally no purpose but padding out the issue. Whatsoever. Like, seriously, it's just this whole argument about how in Kamala Khan, apocalyptic Kamala Khan's universe, Sabretooth was one of the guys that, like, hunted down the Inhumans. And, like, they just have this whole thing about, like, "I'm not that one," and he's like, "He's not that one," and she's like, "Well, you might not be that one, but you look just like him." Well, bitch, you're fucking time-traveling, hopping universes. That shit's gonna happen. Why are you so fucking pissed? Like, and, like, it'd be one thing if Sabretooth did a thing and saved her, and then she realized, oh, I shouldn't have judged him or anything. But no, like, literally, one page flip later, Kamala Khan sacrifices herself so that Sabretooth, Blink, and Nick Fury can get away. That's it. It's fucking useless. This is so dumb. Oh, Christ. And it's literally nothing but exposition. Man, this could have been so much fun if you just did, like, I mean, you see cartoon Wolverine, Wolvie, on this team, and you're like, okay, this is obviously going to be something where it's kind of fun, you know, universe hopping, just takes the fucking premise and runs with it. And it's got moments like that that are really great. Like, here's Pirate Misty Knight and, you know, Little Magneto and an army of Blinks from alternate universes and timelines. And there's the Thing as Blackbeard, and it's just like, okay, that's the kind of shit that works, but just seriously, where the fuck did... Look at the cool thing! Look at the cool thing! Look at the cool thing! Oh my god! This is just unreasonably bad. I said I'd give it till the end of this story arc. It could not have come faster. Oh my god, how bad can you write? And again, I'm just disappointed by this. This is just the definition of bad writing. And then it's just tonally confused bullshit. You have saved the multiverse, but it needs time to heal, and you must fix it more. Yeah, well, talk about that later. The only consequence I'm thinking about right now is our dead friend. We need to send off one of our own. Exiles. And so then they go and they have a funeral for Kamal Khan in Jersey, and then they blink out of existence. It's like this really somber. But right before they leave this really somber funeral, but first I think we've earned a vacation. Cut to the Bahamas. Literally, it's on the following page. You can read this sad-ass funeral right here. And then right here is this totally confused bullshit of them going to live together in the Bahamas with her aunt. What the fuck? And then... The next issue has Cowboy Magneto. How are you gonna fuck that up? Look at the cool thing! Oh. Just give me a few. I'll just sit here and try to cry away this awful comic. I'm so sad. It's had so much potential. Valkyrie instead of Thor. Captain America, Peggy Carter. Yeah, it's dropped. It's dropped, y'all. I'm still allowed to be pissed. Can you leave the ticker as you cry in the corner? Yeah, that's the plan. Hold on, let's see if I can position this right. There we go. Just see if I can get a nice good... Oh, Christ. Look at the cool thing! Making fun of a really bad comic. Okay. What was the last line in here that got me? Today, because of these exiles, the multiverse is safe. But tomorrow, that remains to be seen. To be continued. Nope! Moving on. Darth Vader, number 18. Another Marvel book. Another one that's been kind of up and down on my radar. The quality of Charles Soule writing is I've determined it. Charles Soule can only write one good book at a time. That is... I've yet to be proven otherwise. When he's... Like, he just shifts his focus and ideas between stories. And so, like, he's got good ideas throughout, but he can only execute one well at a time. And so, I was worried when we finished a really good Darth Vader arc and had a really bad Daredevil arc. I was worried that the Darth Vader book was going to start to be bad again. Luckily, not the case. This is a one-off. If you know anything about me, you know I love one-offs in comics. We don't do them enough anymore in the modern age. One-and-dones are a thing of beauty, and I'll be talking more about that later, so I'm not going to go into it a whole lot now. But I believe this is the first real one-off we've had for this run on Darth Vader, which is nice. So in the previous arc, Tarkin asked Darth Vader for help and said he would consider it a personal favor and would owe him. And so Vader helped him, and the Empire won in the last arc. And then we don't know what favor Darth Vader asked for. Instead, we start this arc, or we start this issue, with Tarkin on an alien planet, and I love the way this opens. At dawn, the hunt will enter its 9th day. I began with 20 men, including myself. 8 remain. Considering our quarry, this is better than expected. My prey, Darth Vader. You saw the skin he's wearing? Yes. Taken from a Valath, this planet's apex predator. Huge and deadly, with a hide boasting unique chroma matters that allow it to blend into its background. Vader somehow managed to kill one, a task even I would not undertake without sufficient preparation. And he did it without his lightsaber. You see Tarkin's got Vader's lightsaber? And so yeah, Tarkin is hunting Darth Vader on this alien planet. And so he just kind of like breaks down what the hunt has been like and what he had planned. And so he's first like, okay, lightsabers can deflect blasters, so I'm giving my troops flamethrowers. We managed to surround Vader and hit him with the fire. The lightsaber was useless, but he used the Force and destroyed the flamethrowers. With an excursion, we managed to trap him and gain control of his lightsaber. That went somewhat well, but then he just started killing everybody with the Force. So we used a number of men and sent them in waves at Vader so I could determine how far away you had to be from him before he could kill you with the Force. This is so good! Like, I really like a lot of the lines here. The operation to relieve Vader of his weapon, undertaken on the 4th day, cost me another 6 men. I considered it a bargain. Holy shit. So yeah, Vader goes through all this shit with Tarkin, so the whole time you're like, what the fuck did Vader do to piss off Tarkin? Eventually, Vader's able to pull some wily shit and get the drop on Tarkin and enter his camp and take out all his men. Tarkin's able to keep some distance, keep away from Vader, and run off into this field, trying to maintain the distance so that Vader cannot kill him using the Force. But then he realizes that it's only a matter of time until he tires. Why prolong the inevitable? So he lures Vader into this area, but what Vader doesn't realize is why Tarkin chose this planet to hunt Vader down on. It's because in this particular desert, if you're standing the tallest, then you're the most likely to be destroyed. and Vader's struck by lightning. Tarkin calls his ship to come in and acknowledges that Vader is the best hunter he's ever known, which is why he was surprised when Vader asked Tarkin to hunt himself. Wow. And Tarkin's analysis for why Vader wanted to do this is because he's the greatest hunter in the galaxy. He's killed almost all the Jedi, so he worries he's never going to have a challenge again. That he's unstoppable. And Tarkin used this knowledge, used Vader's own beliefs against him in order to gain a victory. But Vader doesn't allow this victory to last long, and even though he appears almost completely dead on the ground, completely powerless, he reaches out with the Force and nearly chokes Tarkin to death, releasing him as they're both to be carried onto the ship and tended to. That's just a really cool-ass story. That's just a neat idea. It's a cool insight into Vader as a character. It's a cool feature of Tarkin as a strategist. There's just a lot going on here that I really like from a story perspective, and I find really, really cool to see it all together. Because Tarkin always seems so silly and kind of, ridiculous in certain aspects. So to just see him kind of put to work like this in just a way that you would not expect, and it's such like a, especially with him being played by a British gentleman like Peter Cushing, putting him in The Hunt, like that's so fun. There's a lot of layers to this that I really, really like. So yeah, this is a pretty good one. I really enjoyed this. This was a lot of fun. And if you just want a general, hey, this is a cool Darth Vader story, I feel this is a great insight into both these characters. So, I'm not a huge Tarkin fan or anything, but I did quite like this. Alrighty. 42 minutes in, and we've talked about 3 books. That's good. That's a good sign. And I've got this much left to talk about tonight. Alrighty. Let's go to move on to Superman #1. Bendis is here with Superman. Oh my, oh me, oh me, oh my. Okay, there's a lot that goes down in this issue, so I don't think I'm going to do a plot synopsis this time. I'll cover a couple of the major beats that I really liked. Superman misses his family, and I really like how Bendis is exemplifying that with these 5-panel pages. Shows the kind of relationship he has with Lois. This one shows the relationship he has with John. 6 panels here. Anyway. Lots of cool stuff there. Superman also decides to recreate the Fortress of Solitude. It'll now be located in the Bermuda Triangle. And that looks pretty cool. We're just getting a tease of what's going to be in it. Superman has a new Fortress of Solitude. Formed with Kryptonian crystal technology created light years from Earth and its yellow sun, the Fortress of Solitude offers Superman a unique place of solace meditation. It is here that Superman keeps a museum of all of Krypton's history, an alien zoo, laboratories, technologies, and rooms dedicated to all sorts of relics and trophies of his past adventures. Although the exact location will remain a secret from us, it will give Superman a chance to reflect on his heritage. And we realize that's Clark Kent writing an article about it before he stops himself and says ego and deletes the whole thing. That's really cool. So I really like that. Then there's this whole sequence with Superman talking to J'onn J'onzz. And it is super fun. And, like, you could just make a great Superman fan film with this concept and just call it Hold That Thought. Because he keeps having this conversation with J'onn, and then he goes, hold that thought, and you flip the page, and it's just like one big-ass page of Superman doing something epic. And then he comes back and starts talking to J'onn again. This is like they have more of the conversation. Actually, if you could hold that thought, goes to save some people from a fire. Comes back. Sorry about that. I can help with some of these. This one had fire. Oh. But more of the conversation. Could you hold that thought? Goes to space, saves some astronauts. More of the conversation. And then we get, you know, the conversation kind of continues. J'onn comes up with a pretty ominous suggestion. At first, like, it's you know, pretty standard and not a bad point about Earth needs to join more of a galactic society and stop being so isolationist. It needs to get rid of the whole borders situation and just come together as one people. And Superman agrees with that. J'onn suggests that Superman take control and lead humanity to that future. Lead the world, take over all of it, and set it toward a future in which hope isn't just an ideal, but a offer yourself. Watch what happens. Watch the world rise up. They want something different, something more, something hopeful. I love you, J'onn, but think about it. Sit with it. If not you, who? It was really good to see you. Of course, I knew this would be a hard sell. I'll think about it. But I know the answer. You look good, J'onn. I'll see you at the meetings. And J'onn just kind of ominously looks at Superman fly away. So yeah, there's theories like, is this actually J'onn? Because that doesn't necessarily sound like something he'd suggest. There's theories being thrown around. Jake Carlson in the comments says it's got to be Lex or some shit. Maybe that line, you know, take control, offer yourself. That's interesting. Who it is exactly is certainly of intrigue. Anyway, Superman flies off, and he just can't stop thinking about what Jor-El said before Lois and J'onn left with him. And then suddenly he realizes something. That Earth, the entire Earth, has been placed inside the Phantom Zone. Ooh, that's good. That's a good twist ending right there. I like that a lot. This is some exciting epic-ass shit, you know? Next, Rogol-Zar returns. I did not expect him to be back this soon. Shit. I expected, like, weeks, or months even before we got another issue with Rogol-Zar. Free digital comic. Peel to reveal code. I'll leave it. Yeah, that's... Wow, that's quite the reveal. Oh, that's an ad. That's another... Why would you do that? Why would you have an ad for Dark Knight's Metal and then flip the page and there's another ad for Dark Knight's Metal? But yeah, damn. That's quite the reveal. It's an amazing splash. Ivan Reis. Oh my god, I love Ivan Reis. Ivan Reis and Jay Fabok are some of my favorite artists working at DC right now. Ivan Reis, Jay Fabok, Tony Daniel, Michael Yanin, Joel Jones. DC's got a lot of killer talent right now, both on writing and art. There's discussion about there being evil shapeshifters in the DCEU. I believe, isn't J'onn J'onzz' main villain like a white Martian that can shapeshift or something? I don't know a ton about Martian Manhunter, to be honest. Man, this is just a cool-ass issue, though. I really like this. So there's a lot of talent going on right now. It's a good book, folks. It's a good book. Like I said, there will be a bonus episode of Geeky Gentleman posted on Friday around like 9:30 in the morning. Just on the first 6 issues of, or the 6 issues of Bendis' Man of Steel, if you want to check that out. Yeah, it's good stuff. Bendis, like, I'm not a huge Bendis fanboy or anything, but he is definitely showing why he's such a name in the industry in this already. He's got a lot of clearly interesting ideas he wants to play with, so this will be good. Neck's hurting. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and move on to Wonder Woman, number 50. It's a bit of a good news, bad news, good news situation. Let's start with the best news. G. Willow Wilson is going to be writing Wonder Woman. I believe she said starting at issue number 58. So only 8 more issues to go. Slightly less good news, but still pretty good. James Robinson's run is done with this issue. Steve Orlando's taking over, and Steve Orlando, I don't have a ton of opinions on as a writer. I don't know how much of a voice he's going to have for Wonder Woman. Can't be much worse than this. So that's the slightly good news. Bad news is I still had to read this issue. And you get to hear me talk about it. So, we kind of start off by burying the lead in this issue. The last issue ended with Wonder Woman being attacked by Jason and the Dark Gods. Because he turned on her, turned to their side, or been persuaded by their evil, or blah, 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 blah. And that was the cliffhanger, is Jason was now fighting Wonder Woman with all the Dark Gods at his side. This issue opens up page 1 with the word now. I'm sorry, Diana. Sorry about what? About this. Me going away for a bit after everything that happened to you. Not me, Steve. You mean what happened to Jason. Whole conversation about how Jason's dead. See, the purpose of a cliffhanger in literally anything is to make you go, oh, wow, that's so crazy. I can't believe they ended a book like that. Wow, what's going to happen next time? I can't wait for the next issue. So, let's take Superman as an example. Is Superman number 2 by Bendis starts off with Clark Kent saying, whew, that whole Earth in the Phantom Zone thing was a real pickle. I'm glad we got out of that. And Lois being there and yeah, I sure am too. Can't believe all that happened. Yeah, me neither. When I first saw that the Earth was in the Phantom Zone and then tell the story, you just literally cut it at the ankles and took all the drama away because now you know how it ends. You know exactly how it ends. You know how it ends. Why would you tell us how it ends? That's such a bad decision. I don't understand why you would write that way. What about the book necessitated opening with the lead that Jason is dead, Wonder Woman's sad about it, and Steve Trevor's joined the Navy again instead of working at Argus? What? Why was that so necessary? I don't... Ideally, when you're writing, every choice is intentional. you know, obviously, people do things in real life, day to day, not because of deep-seated character things, but because of a necessity to live day to day. Not every meal I have is a reflection on me as a person. I'll eat at McDonald's. Doesn't make it my favorite restaurant. Doesn't mean anything. It means I'm hungry and it's convenient. And so you can get away with some of that in writing. Just the necessity to move things forward, move things along, and so making arbitrary decisions in that way. But major pacing, structural decisions, like opening the book up after a cliffhanger with a time skip that buries the lead on this major character not being in the book anymore, that's an arbitrary choice that has no justification in the issue, no thematic additive to the story, and it undercuts the drama of the issue. Those are three major problems, and chief among them being that it doesn't add anything. It's just an arbitrary choice. There's no intent behind this that I can find. And that's just the definition of thoughtless writing. Again, I really hate to rag on James Robinson, because I've heard some people say some great things about him. Some people whose opinion I deeply respect. Are we sure this isn't like his evil twin brother that just hijacked his comic book career and like the real James Robinson's locked up in an attic somewhere? I don't know what this is. This is just the most thoughtless writing I've read in comics in a while. So anyway, we get a couple pages and then we cut to where we should have opened with Wonder Woman fighting the Dark Gods and Jason. Jason. Oh, okay. No, I gotta talk about it more. So like, hold on, I gotta read this. Don't worry. I'll be my old self by the time you return. The memories will fade. Not yet, though, I bet. No, at the moment. The memories are all too vivid. 1 month ago. The Dark Gods were driving the whole world insane. Crazy, blind, mad worship. And while you and I planned our next move, Jason flew to Asunción, Paraguay, to fight Savage Fire, this pantheon's goddess of war. But the other gods knew somehow. They materialized where Jason was. By the time I got there, Jason was consumed by the same madness gripping everyone. Yes, Mr. Robinson. Why the fuck is Diana telling Steve Trevor what he already knows? That's her talking. This monologue, these narration bubbles, are Diana continuing her conversation with Steve Trevor, who was a part of the events of this story. He knows this. And how do we know he knows it? Because on page 1, I'm sorry, Diana. Sorry about what? About this, me going away for a bit after everything that happened to you. It's so frustratingly thoughtless. Ugh. And again, the thing that kills me the most is not the fact that this is really, really poor writing. It's that this is fucking great art. Oh my god, Wonder Woman fighting evil gods from a, dark universe pantheon in the skies above Croatia. That's cool as shit. Or is it Croatia? Croatia might just be in my head because of oh no, I've never been to Asunción in Paraguay. Okay, my bad. Croatia's in my head because of the World Cup. Yeah, I don't know. This is dumb. So anyway, Jason uses the strength of Hercules to punch her across the countryside and says to the Dark Gods, "Don't worry, my lords, I'll finish her." Flies off, and Diana says, "Jason, please, don't make me do this. Fight you, please. It's the Dark Gods. We need to fight. I'm beg." "Steady, Diana. It's fine. I'm fine." Dun, dun, dun! Yeah, Jason, faked being under the possession of the Dark Gods in order to gain their trust, and just needed to get Wonder Woman slightly away so he could tell her of his ingenious plan. Y'all, we're only this much into the issue. This much is left. Fucking Christ. And I'm an hour in. This can be like a 3-hour episode. So yeah, Jason Woman's got a whole genius plan here to trick the Dark Gods. And it works because he realizes the Dark Gods fear his sister, so he gets them to absorb he and his sister into the internal mind palace of the Dark Gods, where they've been keeping the Justice League since absorbing them, and yada 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 yada. And then he reveals that it was all a ruse, and inside the mind of the Dark Gods is where Wonder Woman can do the most damage. I'll crush you both. No, you won't. You'll listen. So then Jason has this whole conversation with King Best about how he knows the Dark Gods fear Wonder Woman, and what they really want is to go back to the Dark Multiverse. And so if they just leave and undo all the chaos they've caused on Earth, then he will allow them to take him and get them there. Yes, Mr. Robinson, if Jason literally just tricked the Dark Gods, what possible motivation do they have to believe a word he fucking says? Well, Ian, you see, I thought of that, because I'm a professional writer, and I built in an explanation. See, the Dark Gods acknowledge that Jason just tricked them. If you look here on this page, you'll see King Best says, "You deceived me once, so I'm wary. Why would you offer yourself in this way?" And Jason replies, "Because there are conditions. You return the Justice League, you undo all the madness you've caused everywhere, and you leave Earth forever." You tricked him once, but now they can trust you because you have conditions. I mean, like, weren't there... What? Why were there not conditions before? Why? What would stop you from reneging on your deal and screwing them over halfway across the multiverse? They might come back. You both know Wonder Woman can defeat them. What would stop you from pumping the brakes halfway across the universe and Wonder Woman teleporting there with some bullshit that you planned out? Acknowledging a flaw in writing or plotting is a step, is an important step as a writer. Acknowledging is not the same as closing a plot hole. Acknowledging the existence of a plot hole is not the same as concluding or sewing up a plot hole. So anyways, the Dark Gods think about Jason's offer, ultimately accept it, and possess his body and just fuck off. Leave the planet. Now, as we agreed, we go and pray to whichever gods remain here that we never have reason to return. Wonder Woman's really sad. No, I won't let you go. Not my brother. Oh, you will do nothing. Fade away. And Wonder Woman is moved to tears by the loss of her brother. Well, I'm really sorry, Wonder Woman, but I am not. I am I can't fucking talk. I'm happy. Fucking Porky Pig up in this bitch. I am quite pleased. And apparently you are too, because it's only a month later and you're all like making out with your boyfriend and complaining about his beard. I know I shouldn't feel this alone. Steve will return. I have my friends and allies in the Justice League. And part of me is certain I'll see Jason again someday. But now, right now, no. This isn't how I am, dark and forlorn. I'll look ahead, beyond, with those I miss, Jason, Mother, and the Amazons of Themyscira, with me in my heart. Yes, I'll look to tomorrow. Well, that's the beginning of a really good take on Wonder Woman as a character. I can't wait to see what James Robinson does with the rest of his run. Oh wait, this is the last issue? Thank fucking God. It's exhausting. It's an exhausting run. Like, you know, I can debate if Manos is still here. I can debate with Manos for fucking months on end about Brian Azzarello's run on Wonder Woman. End of the day, Azzarello understood the character, and Azzarello knew how to write. James Robinson has a faulty to juvenile understanding of Wonder Woman from what I've read of his run on her, and just doesn't care from what I can tell. And he wasted a really brilliant couple brilliant artists' time because they did some amazing work on this book, and it looks just gorgeous. Honestly, some of the best Wonder Woman art I've seen in a long time. A lot of people have a really, really difficult time capturing Wonder Woman and making her look really good. There's some really cringy Wonder Woman art out there. And particularly for me, just as a Wonder Woman fan, we've all got our preferences with character design and stuff. Wonder Woman always works so much better with, like, the battle skirt thing. So a lot of this it's intrinsically working for me already, and then the artists are just really running with the concept and killing it, and you're just getting some amazing work on the art in this, throughout the entirety of this run. And then it just sucks so hard to be let down so much by something that should be, like, it's not this hard to write Wonder Woman well. I'm sorry, it's just not. She is one of the most consistently poorly written characters in all of DC. In all comics, honestly. Very few people seem to get Wonder Woman, and James Robinson, maybe he's just one of them. Maybe James Robinson's a really good writer, and he's just having such a hard time getting a voice for the character and generating ideas for a plot around the character that gets to have her be in character that he just can't think of that he just doesn't have time to work on the particulars of the writing process. Throughout almost all of Robinson's run on Wonder Woman, I feel like I've read his first drafts. All right. Miss McPick says, "Wait, how is Wonder Woman losing to her younger and inexperienced brother, even if he is powered by the Dark Gods? She's still a better fighter." She doesn't lose. She gets hit across the the countryside real quickly, and then it's revealed that he's got a plan. He's got all the power of the gods, of the Greek gods, running through him one at a time, and so he uses the strength of Hercules and gets a punch in. But it's all part of a plan. She doesn't lose the fight. At least he got that right. Alright. Let's go ahead and move on. The Amazing Spider-Man #1 Behind the Scenes Free Edition. So this I just got because it was free a comic. My store was giving it out. This has got to be one of the strangest ideas for a preview issue I've ever seen, because it's called a behind the scenes edition. Every page, it's just the pencils and page breakdowns, or instead of showing you all the pages, it just breaks 3 pages down into one. And like, that's kind of cool. I mean, this is fucking epic as shit, right? Like, just to see the pencils on a big splash page like that. Or, I don't know, is that inks too? That might be inked as well. Just see the background, behind the scenes stuff like that. That's pretty sweet. But, like, why? Why is this being given away free to promote the book? Like, I feel like I could just follow the artist of the book on Twitter and I'd get the exact same thing. And it just... 9 times out of 10, I'm not an art guy. I don't buy for art. There's only 1 or 2 artists I follow who, if they're on it, I'm more likely to get it. So, I guess there is a population out there that get really excited seeing the art here and want to go pick up the book. But this creates a problem because now they've got the whole issue. They got all the art in a really cool, exclusive, clean way where you get the pencils and inks. So why would you go buy the book? Yeah, Manos kind of gets what I'm getting at. It's like releasing a film with no audio for free to promote it in theaters. Like, yeah, on some level, there's something neat about that. Like, The Last Jedi, there's a cut of that where you can watch it and it's just the music for audio. There's no audio besides John Williams' score. That's cool. But, like, to promote it? That's weird. That's such a strange decision. I just don't get it. Like, it looks cool and fine and all. I'm not going to read it because it's Nick Spencer and I just don't trust him anymore. But, like, why? This is the strangest thing to me. No, I guess this isn't inked because the X's behind Aunt May there, those are usually left to... Or is it Aunt May? I think that's Aunt May, 'cause she looks older. Those are usually left for people, or for the inker to come in and fill in that area. I'm hearing good things about this issue in the comments, and that's nice. I still don't trust Nick Spencer. I think he's got interesting ideas, but I don't think he can execute a story when it gets right down to it. So yeah, I just don't trust him. If he's back on his game and is actually writing well, that's cool. But I don't trust him, and this certainly doesn't get me... Like, maybe this was meant specifically for me. It's like, hey Ian, we know you were really disappointed by Secret Empire, but check out this gorgeous art on this Nick Spencer Spider-Man book. Doesn't that make you just want to try to check it out? Maybe. But I'm just more baffled by the decision to release an art-only first issue. the same week it's out. Because, like, now I can read this. I can flip through this in, like, 2 minutes. And I have a pretty good sense of what happens in the story. Like, you get this, this first page, it's cool. I like it. I like this idea. Spider-Man and Mary Jane are on a date together, and he's doing really cool, surprising things for her. Like, that's cute. It's fun. But I've got a pretty good sense of what the story is in this issue. I kind of know what's happening. I don't really need nor care to read it now. This is me scratching my head. Alright. Last normal single issue of the week. Let's go ahead and go on to The Flash, number 50. This is part 4, and I guess the conclusion of the Flash War story arc. So this isn't good. It's pretty typical stupid event, you know, big epic kind of thing where everyone's just a little bit out of character to make the justification for the decisions that they're making work. And it kind of all comes to a head with Hunter Zolomon with his whole thing, and trying, I guess, to kind of evolve his character. He's got... So, Hunter Zolomon, his whole shtick, his whole vendetta against Wally West was that he wanted to make Wally West a better hero, because he wasn't willing to make the right kind of sacrifices as the Flash and use his powers in the right way. And that made Hunter very disappointed in him. So now Hunter has gone through a character arc, and I guess his new shtick is gonna be, if you can't beat 'em, join 'em. I understand heroes, tragedy makes the heroes, blah 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 blah. Where's the fucking line? You lost Flashes. I wanted to be the best hero. I wanted you to be the best heroes you could be. But you know what they say. When you want something done right, do it yourself. So yeah, that's the idea for character growth for Hunter Zolomon, is instead of being different from Eobard Thawne because he wanted to make Wally West a better hero in really fucked up ways, he's now just Eobard Thawne. He just wants to be the Flash. I mean, now we have two guys who have super speed who want to be the Flash. At least he just gave Flash some new powers? Or gave this version of Reverse Flash some new powers? Giving him the ability to do thing punches and mind powers. These two panels right here. I guess. I don't know. The Strength Force and the Sage Force and the Force and use the Force and the dark side of the Force and time travel and yada 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 yada. It's not bad enough to really complain about. It's not good enough to care. It's just pretty alright. I'll give Williamson some credit for this much. I guess he'd been setting up Wally having these temporal seizures where he's remembering stuff from a timeline that doesn't exist anymore because he was a part of it, and so like he's been having these throughout the entire run, and they prove to be Zoom's weakness. Releasing his memories, thinking about his memory is releasing these temporal seizures is causing Zoom pain. So I'll give him some points for setting something up for the long run. The Flash. But I don't know, it's just pretty much dull comic book event writing as far as I'm concerned. It's kind of my thoughts. Not bad enough to get into, not good enough to care. It's just kind of a thing. Structure thing worth talking about. We get Barry going through some internal monologue. My name is Barry Allen, and I'm not the fastest man alive. Not anymore. Blah, 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 blah. This is what the fallout of Flash War is. As long as I learn from the loss, I'll always have hope. Here's the thing. As long as I learn from the losses on one page, I'll always have hope is on the second page, or is on the page flip. Everything about the page flip does not work for that. The reveal we get on this page flip is... Okay. One of the drawbacks of comic writing is there's nothing, if I want to, there's nothing stopping me from going literally to the last page of the book and reading from there to see what the reveal is. But, you know, that's the contract between reader and writer, that you won't do that. But with comic books, you have this problem of you can flip pages and you can't help but have your attention drawn to something. Here's a good example. So I'm supposed to read this stuff first on this page, but on this page, like, there's more action, it's a bigger panel, it's more dynamic. Your eye's immediately drawn to it on the page flip, but you gotta train yourself to only read here. And I think everyone slips up on that sometimes. As long as I learn from the loss, I'll always have hope. Who gets to I'll always have hope before seeing Bart Allen on this page? Who is that well trained at reading comics to get all the way over to this dialogue balloon before seeing Bart Allen and going, holy shit, that's Bart Allen? That's a bad choice structurally. You know, that is just a poor choice structurally, because this is an exciting reveal. I'll give him credit. This is an exciting reveal. Literally no reason that the I'll always have hope thing couldn't have been on this panel, or in this panel. It works just the same. It's structurally fine just the same. You don't need this carryover for as far as the structure is concerned. And it sours the reveal here, because this is a great reveal. I do like that. It's cool that Impulse is back. That's fun. But just know it's a bad choice. It's just poorly thought out. Also, if you were going to be committed to that, you could at least put... where's my finger? Sorry, the frame's backwards for me. You could at least put this dialogue balloon, or not dialogue, narration balloon, whoop, right there. Much better spot for it. It's not like you're covering up any of the art. It's not like you'd be losing the flow of reading right to left or anything. No, it's just... Even the arm is the eye line. You go straight to this fist because it's the closest thing to the camera. Anyway, there's an epilogue in the 25th century. Next, the last run of Wally West, blah, blah, blah. Apparently the next issue is the final issue, an epilogue to Flash War. I'll read that, and I doubt I'm going to keep going on the book. Alright. moving along. Walmart Justice League #1. So, this is a neat little thing. I do love when comics can do that. This is a neat... shit. Never mind. This is a neat little thing that DC is trying out. They've signed an exclusive contract with Walmart to carry books in stores. In Walmart stores across the nation, there will now be DC Comics on the stands. Specifically, these 100-page giant collections for $5 a piece. And in these giants, you're mostly getting reprints of stuff that DC's already released. I'm trying to find the beginning of it, damn it. Yeah, there's a pretty identifiable page. Here's a reprint of the first issue of Justice League from the New 52 era. There's also a reprint of Francis Manipal's first Flash issue from New 52. And I believe there's one more, right? Oh, and Aquaman's first issue from New 52. But you're also getting plus a brand new story featuring Wonder Woman. So the exclusive part is that not only is this collection of reprints sold in Walmart, you're getting new stories sold only in Walmarts. And that's the thing that's kind of pissing off a lot of fans. So I'm going to definitely... I want to talk about the Wonder Woman story on its own first, and then I want to talk more about the idea of this Walmart collection thing. Actually, you know what? I'm going to have thoughts on that are in regards to this as well. So I'm going to talk about the Wonder Woman story in here, the Batman story in here, and then I'll talk about the idea of the collection, because I don't think I'm going to go through and review each of these reprinted stories. Well, we'll get into it. I might give some quick general thoughts, but I'm not going to go through, because it's basically like reviewing, what was that, 4 issues? There's like 8 more issues on comic reviews. I can't do that. So Walmart Justice League, more apt, Walmart Wonder Woman. This story is about Steve Trevor coming across some, let's see here. I understand, or wait. My name is can't talk tonight, shit. My name is Steve Trevor, United States Air Force. I understand you're trapped behind enemy lines, well, I'm here to rescue you. Oh god, just you? Yeah, thanks for the vote of confidence, but no, it's not just me. I also brought a friend. Wonder Woman! Her name is Wonder Woman. The full force of the Bailean rebel front brought to bear upon a group of brave young women on their way to a humanitarian aid conference. Tell me, please, how do you justify such a cowardly act? So this whole issue is just Wonder Woman fighting these soldiers, or that's the beginning of this issue, is Wonder Woman fighting these soldiers who are attacking some women in vague Middle Eastern country headed to a United Nations conference. Pros and cons. Pro. Wonder Woman standing up for people fleeing conflict and wanting their voices heard. Good. Wonder Woman standing up for women fleeing conflict, wanting their voices heard. Great. Wonder Woman ripping the top off of a tank and beating the shit out of some soldiers. Cool. Con. Did it have to be in the Middle East? Like... Okay, the Middle East is a region in the world where shit is just fucked. There's no denying it. It's straight fucked. It's super cliche to set stuff there. Particularly if you're dealing with something with women's issues. There's no denying, particularly in Islam, the the onus put on women, the second-class citizenry that they put up with, it's apparent, and it's something that definitely needs to be addressed and dealt with. So I'm not saying it can't be done. I don't feel that was thought through enough, and that's so much what this story is about. I feel like the vague idea of bad people in the Middle East is kind of the backdrop for this and what it's meant to be. I'm not sure how much Tim Seeley is aware of the context in which he's writing. That being said, put another column in the prose. This is kind of... It's exaggerated because it's comic books and we kind of need Wonder Woman to come in and stop a tank, but this isn't unlike things that have happened in real life in the Middle East. In Afghanistan, what's her name? I can't remember her name. Little girl wanted to go to school and Taliban shot her ass. Or was it the Taliban or Al-Qaeda? Al-Qaeda shot her ass, and she survived, and now she gives talks and speeches and encourages education for women. Name. Shit. Hey, Haley. She's got headphones on. Malala Yousaf? Is that right? That sounds right. Yeah, Malala Yousaf, I believe that's her name. That does sound... That's clicking some bells up here. So this is a thing that happens. The idea of, proto-military groups, attacking women for speaking out in Islamic countries. Yeah, it's definitely a thing. So it's a definitely... Like, it's not out of the realm of possibility, but it doesn't feel like that's the focus of the issue. It feels like that's just more there for backdrop as just quick, easy, these are the bad guys, these are the good guys situation. And I'd harp on that less if not for what I'm going to talk about with the Walmart thing. So I'll get into why I find that to be more of an issue here as we go. But anyway, that's not really the main story. Ares shows up. Ares, God of War. Diana, how like each other we are, princess. Both of us drawn like moths to a flame, to the sounds of battle and the smell of blood. Fuck my throat. Ow. Damn, that hurt. Oh. Ares, there's a high-pitched whine coming from your helmet. Allow me to silence it. And she just punches him right in the face. And then ultimately Ares like, I am the god of war. I am in the hearts of all men, even when they wear the mask of civility. At any moment, their love for me can overtake them, forcing them to make offerings of spent shells and broken blades. They build temples to me in deep trenches and smoldering cities, and they sacrifice themselves at my altar. No. As he just makes... As Ares possesses all these soldiers that Wonder Woman was fighting and forces them to break their own necks in front of her. That's great. That is super fucked kind of great. And again, I've got a problem with that, given some of the context of this being a Walmart thing, but I'll get to it. Oh, spare me your horror. All that lives knows bloodlust. All that breathes knows the quickening of the heart at the thought of violence. Even you, Diana. Raised in fabled Themyscira among women who retreated from the world of men, you were exceptional, beautiful as Aphrodite, stronger than Hercules, swifter than Hermes. As the daughter of Queen Hippolyta, you were her greatest pride. She gave you all the knowledge you could contain, and though you would someday leave Paradise Island and venture into man's world as an ambassador of peace, what you were always most exceptional at were games of physical strength and combative cunning. What you have always excelled at, princess, are the arts of war. How else could you have spread your message of love and harmony in a realm filled with cruelty and violence if you did not feel great hate for your enemies? if you were not one of my worshippers as well. Then it looks like Wonder Woman's about to get taken over by Ares, and then she's about to be killed by one of the fighters, but the building he's under is about to collapse on him, and that snaps Wonder Woman out of this trance and allows her to save him. And the name of this story is... hold on. I had it and I lost it. The Conversion. So she saves this guy who is about to try to kill her. And he converts. He realizes the error of his ways and joins the side of Wonder Woman. So Tim Seeley's definitely got a great voice for Wonder Woman. Great voice for Ares. He's really, really talented at writing Ares. But he understands the nature of forgiveness, acceptance, compassion, and I do love this line that Wonder Woman has at the end as she embraces the guy who is about to kill her. Ares will return whenever there is conflict, and I will be there to take away his powers, even if I must convert his worshippers one at a time. Yeah, that's a really solid Wonder Woman story. That is a really, really solid Wonder Woman story. Again, there's the cultural context, which I definitely have some level of a problem with, though you can definitely make an argument for it. I'll give you that. Structurally, I really like this issue. You know, it does the whole give you background on the character that maybe... I gotta review this in a different context than I would, like, monthly comics, because this gives me background I already know on Wonder Woman, but not necessarily everyone knows about, like, the particulars of Wonder Woman's past on Themyscira. What's really important here, though, is this background that's given on her about her time on Themyscira is relevant to the themes and the plot of the story at hand. So it's a really great way for this new reader audience that they're going for with these books, to give you like a quick rundown on Wonder Woman's background with being from Paradise Island, but also tie it in naturally to the themes of the story. So Seeley is a pretty talented writer, and I'll give him a lot of credit for that. So this is a pretty good one. Manos is talking about the art. Yeah, the art in here is really good. Wonder Woman has a nice six-pack that Lo wants to drink from. Wow. Damn, it's getting like that. All right. Whatever. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like the art in here quite a bit. You don't get a ton of great action, but you do get some pretty cool spreads, which is nice. Got classic Ares design, which is nice. I actually do like Ares' old design in the comics, so that's cool. Ultimately, yeah. Solid issue for the Walmart Wonder Woman. Io. Oh, Io, not Lo. Well, my apologies. Keyboards are weird. Anyway. Let's go ahead and move on to Walmart Batman before I talk about the Walmart books in general. Okay. This one's a pretty simple Batman story called One More Chance, part 1 of 2. In it, Batman is put onto a ransom case and starts to investigate it. A wealthy woman is kidnapped. They paid the ransom and then waited a week and still didn't get her back. Her name is Anna. Unfortunately, the information that he gets kind of leads him to a place he most definitely does not want to go. That being the Monarch Theater. And it is here that he is, of course, assaulted by memories of the deaths of his parents, which is a bad time to be doing that because he's distracted and doesn't realize that some guys, some thugs driving a car, are sneaking up on him and about to hit him in Crime Alley. So that's that story. It's much more simple, much more sacrosanct. And yeah, this is about the return to Crime Alley and all this stuff. This one I like. It's not as strong. Who's the writer again? Jimmy Palmiotti? Palmiotti? Yeah, this just... Manos just killed me in the comments. Walmart Batman is perfect because he has a history of child labor. Manos, you should get on Twitter. You should go tweet that. Anyway. Yeah, so this is just pretty simple Batman story. Detective work, some fun dialogue with Gordon, some fun dialogue with Alfred. I do like this little exchange that he has where Batman breaks down the types of kidnapping. There are three different types of kidnapping, Alfred. First is a family one, committed by parents or relatives. A large percentage involve female perpetrators. The second is acquaintance kidnapping, occurring at homes and residences, mostly executed by juvenile perpetrators. The last is stranger kidnapping, usually involving female victims, occurring primarily at outdoor locations away from the home. Yeah. That's... I don't know, that's just really interesting, like, to have that analytical kind of detective Batman stuff, which has definitely not been the focus of King's book. I don't believe that's been what we've gotten in Detective Comics either. So it's just refreshing to kind of get that kind of storytelling again. And so you got Batman, interviewing the family and like the father, the wealthy mogul of the family, offers Batman a reward if he's able to find the girl. Like, I don't know, there's some fun stuff like that, and we make it personal by bringing Bruce to Crime Alley. It's pretty solid, pretty fun Batman story. Nothing like to write home about, but pretty solid little introduction kind of thing to the character. It's definitely a Batman comic. Okay. What else do you get in the Batman one? I broke down what you got in the Justice League / Wonder Woman one. So in the Batman one, you get the first issue of Hush, Batman Hush from 2003. Let's see here. You get the first issue of New 52's Nightwing. And, yes, the first issue of New 52's Harley Quinn. So, where to begin with this? Yeah, this is the first issue of Amanda Connor's Harley Quinn run. Alright. So, the very first thing I want to talk about is the types of exclusive stories you're getting here. Both of these are pretty good. I have a little more problem with the Batman one than I do the Wonder Woman one, as far as just the notion of trying to present these to new readers, because that's the intention here. These aren't really for me as a regular comics fan. These are meant to be the kind of thing that a kid asks their mom for in the store, and it's a way to try to hook someone that hasn't read comics because they don't go to a comic shop every week. So, that context being said, I feel that there is some questionableness to the idea of having any kind of multi-part stories. And I think that is... I think that is compounded as a problem by an additional fact I'll get into, which has to do with Walmart's stock level on these. So the idea of doing multi-part stories with cliffhangers seems really counterintuitive to the idea of, like, you've never read a comic before, here you go. Oh man, I love this. Can I get the next issue so I can read the full story? No, we're out of stock on that. Well, great. So much for that. You know, you see what I'm saying? Like, you can't help but feel for the kid who's going to get really into the first issue and then never be able to find the second. Because you know, like, okay. I'm trying to think how many Walmarts I got in town. One out by my mom's. One out by me. One further out of my way on Lima. One on Jefferson. One in Southtown. I got 5 in town. The closest 2 are out by me, and they're roughly 5 to 6 miles apart. You're a kid, you really, really want the next issue of this Batman. You're going to ride your bike 6 miles. No, actually, you're going to ride your bike more than 6 miles. You're going to ride your bike from your house to the Walmart. They're not in stock on it. You're going to ride your bike from that Walmart all the way to one of the others. And then back home. How many parents do you think that were exhausted and suckered into buying their kid this at the checkout line are going to go that extra mile and drive their kid across town to go check the other stores 2 weeks from now? That's a little suspect. That's a decision that I do not think I can get behind. Doing multi-part stories, try to keep them coming back when you can't reliably keep stock, big problem. Luckily, it's a problem with solution, which is Walmart needs to stock more of these. I had to go to 2 stores to get these. My first store completely sold out. My second store only had 2 of the 4 or 5 books. 4 books that were released. Because there was a Tom King Superman. I was really excited. I didn't get it. So again, the big onus here is on the stores. If they're going to do these exclusive deals kind of things, which I do totally love the idea of, to try to get new readers into comics, particularly younger kids, that's a great decision. They need to keep a higher stock. Because from what I have heard, let's do a little research here, shall we? All right, give me just a sec. eBay. Let's see if I can do some screen sharing here. Add screen capture. Yeah, eBay. All right, there we go. We got eBay up. Let's make that window a bit bigger. Let me check the live dashboard, make sure you guys can see what I want you to see. Yep, good. Good. Okay, so let's take a look over here at eBay. $8, $11. Oh, the full set, $50, $10, $12, $9. $50 for the full set. $45 for the full set plus free shipping. Yeah, that's your problem. Right now you've got a scalper's market, and the only way to stop that is to have a higher stock on all books that you're getting. And I don't know how long the scalper's market is going to exist for, but that's bullshit. That is just the definition of unfair to a kid. That's unfair to kids. That's unfair to people like me who do want to read these anyway and see what DC's putting out there, or want to read the exclusive Tom King Superman story kind of thing, you know? So that's just, again, the biggest complaint I have about this initiative is not that Walmart's going to put comic shops out of business, is not the condition of the books like I've heard a lot of fans talking about. My biggest complaint is they're not keeping enough stock, and that's a problem. Let's talk about some of those other things, though. Again, the initiative of writing these books for kids jump onto is great. I think they should focus more on one-and-done stories for literally every issue. Not just the main exclusive story. I think literally everything collected in these 100 pages should be exclusively one-and-dones. I'll give you one. I'll give you one pickup next week. Yeah, I'll give you one pick it up next week story, and it can't be the main exclusive. I think that's fair. I'm going to criticize the stories they're collecting. Let's see here. With the exception of the new exclusive stories, everything's New 52. Oh wait, no. Okay, I take that back. We got Hush and Batman. So with the exception of Hush and the exclusive stories, everything collected in these two volumes is New 52 related. Mom, I really like this Nightwing story, and it says the whole series is, the whole story arc is published in stores. Can we go get it? Yeah, sure. Reads it. New 52 sucks. Oh. Or, hey Mom, I really like this Nightwing story. Can we go to the store and pick up the next issue, or the newest issue of Nightwing? This isn't the Nightwing I was reading. It should be Rebirth titles. Or it should be out of continuity stuff that like isn't set in one particular continuity. As far as what they're collecting. I don't like it, but collecting Hush isn't the worst idea. Jim Lee's art certainly leaves an impression, if nothing else. But it's like a big singular piece that's not super continuity dependent. That's ultimately a good decision. Obviously, I'd prefer something more like Long Halloween to be collected because I'd like them to have good stuff, but I'll give it to you. Ultimately, though, I do really support this initiative. There's like a lot of buzz that, oh, this is gonna put, local comic shops out of business. Couple things on that. Local comic shop businesses isn't great already. Local comic shops have trouble functioning as is. So this is not going to be the nail in the coffin. This is purely and simply an initiative to get new readers into comics. Which is something we should support, because without new readers getting into comics, local comic shops will die anyway. And then, just the other side of it, well, Walmart's not going to get you a fucking pull list. Just it's not. Walmart is not going to give you a pull list. Walmart's not going to hold on to books on your behalf until you come in 3 months from now. That's not happening. Local comic shops will always serve that function. Could conceivably more stores jump on to stocking comics like magazines, and that could hurt some of their business? Yeah, potentially. Again, there's going to be a major quality thing. The stores would be unlikely to get variants, unlikely to have peripheral things like the more collectible side of action figures and statues. There's just a lot to that, right? There's a lot about the local comic shop that's very exclusive to it that these larger businesses just aren't going to offer. Now, some of the ones that are really on the margins, really in rougher areas, they could potentially have trouble with this, but where's it at? Because I remember seeing it somewhere along the way in here. Just gotta find it. Hold on. I know this is the most exciting part of me doing these reviews. Oh. Alright, I can't find it, but there's a pretty good one. Get more DC graphic novels wherever comics and books are sold. Like, Barnes & Noble carrying trades has not hurt the local comic shop economy as far as I am aware. I always go to the like, literally, I have my comic shop, and not even 15 feet away I have a Barnes & Noble. I always check the comic shop for trades first, anyway. I think most people do. Because, guess what? I go to a Barnes & Noble and play. I'm like, hey, I'm looking for this Thanos run. I don't know which one it is, though. But it's the recent one with, like, Cosmic Ghost Rider in it. Oh, yeah. Let me, random Barnes & Noble teenage employee that doesn't fucking read comics and thinks you're a nerd. Let me help you find that. I know exactly which book you're talking about. Comic shops offer a lot of different kind of service than these kind of initiatives or the larger chain stores do. So that's the big deal. Yeah, just worth thinking about that. I swear I thought they had a... Okay, I will say, one thing I would like them to do, they should put an ad into these for locate your nearest local comic shop. They should do that. Comic shop locator, whatever you call those, that needs to be in these. That would be very helpful. Sure, Walmart wouldn't love it, but, you know. Oh, there it is. It was on this one, but not on the Justice League one. Bam! Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. Like what you're reading here? Discover more adventures each week at your local comic shop. ComicShopLocator.com. Bam! RIP headphone users. So yeah. Not worried about the economics of giving Walmart an exclusive comic deal. More worried about the economics of how many issues Walmart is ordering and stocking. So here's who you complain to about that. If you, like me, support this idea of stocking these books to try to get new readers in Walmarts around the country, around the world, talk to Walmart. DC's doing what it's doing. Don't message Tom King on Twitter about it. Message Walmart. Twitter. Complain at your local Walmart. If you go into a Walmart and they got the stand up, if you go into Walmart and they have the stand up for your local whatever, it's like, oh, we're out of this book, sorry. You know what? Go complain to a manager. Say, hey, when are you going to get these back in stock? I really got excited about this, and now I'm very disappointed to see it's not in. Let's see. Yay, you can see that. Yeah, this right here is what it looks like, the stand looks like when it's out of stock. Both of the stores I went to, it was right up in the front of the store, so go check there first. I can't lie. For all my super speed, I still wasn't fast enough out of stock. It's a little cheeky. I'm a little annoyed, particularly because the stocks are so low. Keep a higher stock, Walmart. I actually tweeted this out when I was looking for the book, and Walmart decided to get a little cheeky with me. Where's just the view tweet? Copy link to tweet. Paste. Go. Yeah. Damn, try one more store in town at DC Comics at Walmart. I love the idea, but if you're going to make it exclusive, we need a higher stock. So I tagged, of course, DC and Walmart. And look at that. Hey, Ian, they are superheroes. Are you really surprised they're flying off the shelves? Yeah, a little cheeky, a little annoying there, but getting attention. More people. Tag them. Talk to your managers. Do all that. It's going to be worth your time, I promise. So, yeah, that's all I got to say on the review side of the Walmart books themselves. That being said, these 2 issues cost me $10. I've read most of the content that's in here before. Read Aquaman, I read Flash in the beginning of their new 52 run. I read Hush. Nightwing was new. Harley Quinn was new. I read Justice League. The new exclusive stories are definitely the shortest part. $10, $10 to $20 is what it'd be if I were to have gotten the other 2. That's rough. Jake Carlson doesn't like my dark theme on Twitter. My night mode? You go fuck yourself, sir. You go straight to hell. Oh my god. What is wrong with you? But no, the cost for 2 issues, when I've read most of the content, that's rough. But I do want to try to get these. I'm not going to go store hopping to get them. I'm going to check one store the day they're supposed to be released. I'll try to keep a better eye on that. I'm going to check one store and try to get these the day of release. That being said, these are not meant for me. I want to get them partially because I'm generally curious in the stories, but because I do reviews and I want to let you guys know what I think of them. So, again, these aren't meant for me, though. These are meant to attract new readers. I'm keeping the receipts, and I'm donating these. I'm gonna find a charity, hopefully something kid-centric, or someplace like maybe youth center or something, and donate these there so kids there can get a hold of them, read them. In order to make it cost-effective, I'm gonna keep the receipts and hopefully be able to write some of that off on my taxes. If you are really curious about these, if you are looking to get into them, yeah, sure, go ahead, give them a read. That's great. Definitely worth something. Story-wise. You shouldn't keep them. If I have any sway over you, donate them to youth center or something like that. I'm gonna look into exactly who I'll donate these to. Maybe donate them to a library, Manos is saying. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Again, I'm worried about scalpers. I feel like if I donate them to a library, they're just going to get stolen from the library and end up online. So I want to donate them someplace where they'll be kept. So maybe like a high school library or something, or middle school library. We'll see. I'm going to look around town, see what programs would be good to drop these off at. Something like that. So that's going to be my plan. And I would encourage others to do the same. Oh, I did have one more criticism, because this was kind of in a lot of this. Hold on, I gotta find the one that like really fucking got to me. Because the Wonder Woman story where they're like snapping their own necks, that was a bit much. But like, y'all, this was knuckin' futz. Oh, what did it happen in? Was it Aquaman? Yeah, it was. Okay. So, like, this first issue of New 52 Aquaman, it ends with some fishermen doing their thing, and then, like, a guy catches something, and it pulls him in the water because it's so strong, and then you just get, like, blood, and these creepy-ass things start popping up out of the blood. I'm like, that's a little graphic. Same for some of this stuff in Hush. Or not Hush, necessarily. Hush isn't as bad, really. Nightwing, however, Nightwing got to be a bit much. With just like how graphic some of the violence is. I was pretty worried about that. Like, okay, yeah, here's a pretty good one. That's a lot of blood. And again, it's gonna be kids reading this, and it's not me being like, oh, kids can't have anything violent or gory. No, I want kids to be able to read this, and I want parents to be okay with their kids reading this. And there's nothing wrong with violence in a comic. But like, you got pretty graphic image of police officers getting their necks slit. What I'm worried about is the mom that breaks down and buys this for her kid, and then looks over his shoulder while he's reading the page where 2 police officers get their throats slit in gory close-up detail. And then it's just like, well, I'm not buying them comics again. So, again, it's fine to have violence in comics. I'm not saying don't put violence in comic books. Again, this is meant to try to pull new readers in, specifically younger kids. This would be the thing to be more selective in what stories you want to feature, what kind of age range and content you want to feature. Which is, again, why I'm really scratching my head for the New 52 choices, because New 52 was marketed to a much older demographic than this should be, in my mind. And again, yeah, Wonder Woman's got soldiers breaking their own necks in close-up graphic detail. Yeah. Alright. That'll do it for this. Alright, I got 8 people. Don't leave. Do not leave. I know normally when I go to Trade Talk, I disable the comments, and I just try to focus on whatever I'm reviewing. Not this time. So just stay, because there's going to be a lot of audience interaction here. On this episode of Trade Talk, I'll be talking about My Girlfriend is a T-Rex Volume 1. Sorry, I'm looking at the views in the comments to really see what's going on here. So I'm not a manga guy. I'm not a person that's into monster girls, as this entire fucking genre is apparently called and exists. I've already got live comments reacting with like, what? Hold on, let's see if I can get this going here. If I put this up and I shrink this down a little bit and maybe off to the side. Now I can't really just isolate that section. Hold on, maybe if I do this. If I make this window really exclusive to... Oh, shit. If I make this window really exclusive over here to just the live comments. Where is it at? There we go. Okay. That'll work. Yeah, there we go. So I'm going to have live comment interactions tonight. That's the thing we're doing. Because this shit's bizarre. Alright. So yes, I'm not into monster girls. I am not into any kind of anything of this fetish. I'm subscribed to the YouTube channel Dorkly. They did an entire video uncovering the fact that this is like a genre of manga, which is women, but they're not normal women. They're sexy things. And so they can be like half woman, half T-Rex, or they can be part. They can actually be a microwave. It's just a thing. Yes, My Girlfriend is a T-Rex. Volume 1. This is an entire fucking genre. I have no idea how this is a genre. Philip Kelton says, yeah, I'm into that fetish. So yeah, I'm gonna make fun of people's fetish tonight. That's what I'm doing. Is if this is your fetish, I am making fun of you. And I don't care because it's weird. And if you can't acknowledge that this is weird, I'm sorry. We're all into our weird shit. Everyone's got their weird thing. This is a particular brand of so I want to talk about this. Philip Kelton wants to know where he can buy this. Yeah, I just got it off Amazon. All right. So, My Girlfriend is a T-Rex is the story about a young man who meets a girl who's part T-Rex. Or actually, she's all T-Rex. Because in the first 2 pages, we break down how in this world, evolution went very differently. Check it out. Hotties at 3 o'clock. Guess what? Come on, tell me. See 'em? Those are dinosaurs there. Oh, those 2 are velociraptors. Wow, you sure know your stuff, Numo. I mean, I see dinosaurs from time to time, but they all look so different from one another. Better grab a pic. Well, there's a reason for that. There is? They were totes checking us out. Oh my god. I read in a book that in order to avoid mass extinction, they had to evolve certain human-like features. How progressive. So we get like a little evolutionary breakdown of how dinosaurs evolved into cute girls. Oh my god. This is So they started off as normal dinosaurs, and then they became dinosaurs who wore clothes and had jobs, and then they just turned into cute girls because that was the most evolutionary beneficial kind of road they could take. I'm gonna get so much fucking hate on this video for how just fucking bizarre this shit is. Look, there was a debate about whether or not the dinosaurs had feathers. Don't worry, the velociraptor has feathers. Oh, man. So anyways, this is broken down, and it's really more of like a comic strip just kind of contained in a manga format because there's a lot of non sequiturs and things don't necessarily lead into one another, but there's a loose sense of continuity and progression of stories. So seriously, literally, right after the explanation of how dinosaurs evolved into cute girls, because science, we get a page flip, and it's just old dude runs into T-Rex girl who's walking around topless outside of his apartment, and he's like super into her. Grrr. Yes? Hey. Oh, I just had to take the trash out tonight. What's with that dumb grin on your face? Ain't you scared of me? Oh, nope. I guess she can talk after all. You don't seem all that scary. What? No freaking way, you should be quivering like crazy. Well, I see at least 2 things here that are quivering. Get it? Get it because it's her dinosaur boobs. It's her dinosaur boobs. Her dinosaur boobs are quivering, guys. Her boobs that are dinosaurs are quivering. But this guy who's not afraid of the half-naked T-Rex girl is afraid of a cat. And yeah, he's just super nice to her, and she finds that kind of off-putting and endearing, and it throws her off her game. But also, she's still topless. And he's super into her. He thinks she's super cute, and he's sorry that he's not afraid of her, so he pretends to be afraid in order to make her feel better. And that's the beginning of their relationship, because he's just, oh, she is so cute. She's just the cutest thing ever. And yeah, then just the antics of dinosaur girl of T-Rex girl begin to continue. And then apparently, like, dinosaur girl fetishing is a thing, because the Velociraptor chick, ta-da! Looky! I got all of this just for sitting on some guy's lap, and she gets gifts from human guys because she's one of those types of dinosaur girls. My dad, when I was a boy, sat me down and he said, "Ian, you got to find yourself the right kind of woman. You don't want to end up with a dinosaur girl who just lets you sexually fetishize her for the monetary rewards. You got to find someone that lets you sexually fetishize her for you." And it was on that day that I looked at my dad, and I said, "You got to stop the drugs." Oh, man. So yeah, he like buys her a teddy bear and convinces her to stay with him in his apartment because stuff and reasons, and he buys her clothes and stuff, and it's just, I don't know. It is not, ultimately, I was slightly disappointed by the fact that this is rated all ages. Never mind that, like, literally he's not even covering up the nipples. He's just straight not drawing the nipples, but drawing all boob. Like, it's rated all ages. So I did not get what I was really hoping for would be just a super graphic sex scene. I so wanted to see this guy fuck a T-Rex girl. You had no idea how blown my mind would have been to see this guy fuck a T-Rex girl. I was so there for that. And it doesn't happen. It's pretty G-rated throughout. There's just a bunch of, like, cute, jokey romance stuff. All throughout, the women are treated pretty typically for what you would expect for this. A lot of very heavily implied fetishism. Like, this panel doesn't make any sense, because like, here's the breakdown. Cold. Snag. Nice and warm. This is perfect. Because she's cold-blooded, I guess, and he's gonna give her warmth. Reptiles don't absorb body heat in that manner, I'm pretty sure, because my lizard never gets any warmer when he lays on me. Yeah, so just, I don't know, this keeps getting more and more ridiculous. Very clearly, the writer seems to run out of ideas. And I can't imagine how, because this premise just seems so endless and full of opportunities. Wouldn't you say, commenters? Can't you just imagine all the craziness of dating a T-Rex? But damn, I really wanted a sex scene, though, because, like, here's the thing about a T-Rex girl. Half girl, half T-Rex. It's like the mermaid problem times 1 billion. 'Cause, like, is it too gross if I talk about the physics of reptile sex, particularly dinosaur sex, because that was slightly different, but, I mean, this is probably too fucking graphic, but I'm gonna do it. I mean, I'm doing this for the views at this point, so fuck it, why not? Poor Danny, indeed. Everyone, this is my pet lizard, Danny. No, I am not sexually fetishized or attracted to him. Danny, say hi to the people. Okay, so let's talk about the physics of lizard sex and lizard biology. Here's Danny's flap. This is the flap that Danny poops out of. This is also the flap where Danny's dick comes from. Lizard sex is disgusting.
Danny. Oh, he's being
Lizard sex is disgusting. It's all out of one hole. Alright? That's what it comes down to. So I was so invested to see just someone try to draw a sex scene between a human and a T-Rex girl, with the bottom half being the T-Rex, and make that work. I was so there for that, and we just didn't get it. We didn't get it. Ugh. ABC123 says, please pay for my therapy. This is not the first time Ian has pulled out his lizard in front of his computer. I don't know, Danny, what do you think of, dinosaur-human relations? No opinion? That's okay. So, yeah. The premise does seem to run out fairly quickly, in all honesty. There's a bunch of quasi-cute moments. I can't lie, I did legit get a laugh out of things here and there. The fetishism is for real, though. Oh, I'm cold. Gotcha! Hey, baby, you want to sit on my face? No! Yeah, so the fetishism gets pretty for real. Though there are moments in here that I did legit get a laugh, and I was not expecting to. Of like, oh my god, that was actually a clever joke. I just gotta fucking find it, because this shit was real. Okay, here we go. So the Velociraptor chick that's like totally a gold digger and just tricks guys into thinking that she likes them in order for them to buy her stuff, is she's got this guy on her hook, and she's got him running all over the mall, doing stuff for her. And she's like, thank you! And meanwhile, the T-Rex girl's like, clever girl. And that made me laugh. That, as a Jurassic Park reference, I was not expecting, I was not prepared for, and that was legitimately funny. Smash Time says, are you going to donate this to charity? I think he'd be put on a list if he donated it to charity. I don't know. This is the kind of thing, like with most porn, I feel like I'm just going to leave somewhere for someone else to find. So there's just a lot of, it's just dumb. There's really all it comes down to. It's just kind of dumb, kind of, like, at its best, it's dumb silliness. At its worst, it's a pretty blatant excuse for some fetish imagery. Like this little joke was cute, where he gets the T-Rex girlfriend to move in next door, and they share a wall, so he just knocks on it and goes, Shiro-chan, can you hear me? How's your new place? If you have any problems, just tell me, okay? I'll help you out. She's very worried. Runs next door, opens up, Yuma! Well, that was fast. Problems already? Just now, in my room, the wall spoke to me. What do I do now? I'm scared. Okay. I can't lie, I got a chuckle out of that. It's funny. It's got some humor to it. But yeah, the fetishism and stuff, it's so fucking bizarre. You just can't help but see it and be like, what the fuck? Mano says it's basically DeviantArt the manga. Yeah, it's exactly DeviantArt the manga. Like, I love DeviantArt, and I don't turn on, like, the safe search or anything, because sometimes you can find some really interesting stuff, even if it is, like, full nude or whatever, but you go through some weird shit looking for it. Stuff gets fucking nuts. And yeah, let's talk about the nature of sexual fetishes and their supposed evolution, I believe, in the internet. In the internet age, I should say. Because here's my hot take to close out this video. I'm of the opinion that it is indisputable that fetishes have existed in a wide variety of very strange manners since the dawn of human civilization, probably even before. And at its heart, there's nothing inherently wrong with having a fetish if you're aware of it, and you can find a consenting partner that's into it as well. There's a problem with fetishizing people, particularly if they're not consenting, but that's a different discussion. But I feel like the internet age has kind of heightened and made fetishes more prevalent and made them oddly more specific and involved. And I feel that it's because of the internet that this has happened. I feel like the internet has evolved the fetish and refined it, because now, like, the one person who was into this thing can just talk about it or find an entire community of people that are into it. Where before, pre-internet age, that was exceptionally rare. Like, there were always, like, BDSM clubs and societies and stuff that were really into it. There's swing and group sex societies. But those are, like, really broad fetishes that cover a lot of ground. Whereas this shit is, like, ultra specific. And that's what makes it really interesting. So I feel like the idea of the online community has been able to take these really odd, really bizarre fetishes and, like, heighten them and ingrain them so that they happen more and just kind of spread in that, you know, there are some people in the community that are into the arts or photography or whatever, so they're able to visualize the fetish for each other amongst themselves and then kind of share it in a group. And then that's able to be exposed to someone who's not part of the group, and they just come across it and see it. And depending on what age they are, or how impressionable they are, or how their life circumstances attune them to have an interest in that thing, they can then get involved in that fetish. And so that's just... it's really interesting to think about, and I feel like the internet has extended the reach of a fetish. I just saw that prehistoric passion. That's funny. So I'll give the writer this. I'll give the writer/artist this. He's definitely aware that it's weird. He definitely tries his best to just make it funny and have a fun, jokey time with it and showcase a cute, quasi-cute relationship. Ultimately, it is totally a fetish project. There's no way around that. This is kind of the definition of a fetish project, and I got just a laugh riot out of reading it. So let's look down at that comment section. See what people are saying. If you hate me for talking and bad-mouthing your fetish, everyone's got their thing, man. Yours is just really bizarre to me, and so I had to talk about it once I found out it existed. I couldn't not read this. So yeah, go on and get your copy of My Girlfriend is a T-Rex. You'll get a couple laughs out of it, some of them at the expense of the thing, some of them genuinely in the piece. So, I don't know. I had a good time reading this, ultimately. It was fun. It was fun talking about it on the show here. It's quite a fetish. I for sure cannot relate to it. Yeah, I mean, like, I fucking don't get it at all. I have a reptile. You know. Yeah, love you too, Danny. Yep. Cuddles are the best with your scaly ass. So yeah, that's gonna do it for this episode of Trade Talk on this very weird shit. My Girlfriend is a T-Rex Volume 2. This will not be a Trade Talk series. Alright, Danny, say bye to the people. Say bye.